Tonight, another business is leaving Atlantic Station. We just learned Banana Republic will be closing its doors.
And this closure comes days after the announcement of some closures of DSW Shoes and Publix. Atlanta News First senior reporter Patrick Quinn live outside Atlantic Station tonight. So Patrick, some people who live there say they need the city to step in on this.
We got Publix, DSW Shoes, and now Banana Republic all closing here at Atlantic Station. Is this just your typical economic turnover, businesses coming and going, or for some who live here, they fear that something bigger, more concerning is looming for their live, work, play community? Nights at Atlantic Station during the holidays, you'll see a sparkling tree, ice skating, and avenues of holiday lights. But for some that live here, like Satya Ban, Atlantic Station isn't as bright as it may seem.
And we're just supposed to look at the fancy lights and pretend like everything is okay.
Right now, the list of Atlantic Station businesses closing is growing longer. We just learned Banana Republic will close by the end of January. Same with DSW. And Publix is closing its doors December 27th.
People without cars are kind of scrambling because we don't have a grocery store that's walking distance or easy to get to safely.
Atlantic Station, home to roughly 6,000 residents and 9 million annual visitors, opened in 2005, revitalized using tax revenue as a live, work, play community. That tax allocation district funding expired a year ago. And for Bond, as businesses continue to close, ownership is not keeping that all-in-one promise.
You're literally seeing a community that was in creation for 20 years crumbling in front of you. The mismanagement of Atlantic Station by Hines and Morgan Stanley that have created rent hikes and then just ignoring safety issues in Atlantic Station.
Hines is the real estate developer. Morgan Stanley, a capital partner. The spokesperson for the PR firm representing Atlantic Station told me in an email all three closures are not tied to the TAD funding expiring and said, quote, a grocer is among the priority categories we are currently pursuing as part of that process. And our specialty leasing team is evaluating short-term activations to help maintain convenience and service for residents during the transition. For Satya, who moved in 2015, his once promising home needs help.
This is a cautionary tale. Everybody looks at this and is like, none of this should be happening. What has gone wrong here? And we need to get to the bottom of it.
Now, there is a Target across the street on the back end of Atlantic Station, though residents here, they say that that is not big enough, not a big enough grocery store to serve the thousands of people that live here. We're expected to hear a lot more from the community here at Atlantic Station. They're holding a rally outside the Publix, 5 o'clock on Tuesday. Outside Atlantic Station, Patrick Quinn, Atlanta News First.